Hello, and I am back with yet another tag. This week is tag week, I guess. I'm really happy to be doing so many tags. And this tag is another original one created by Michael at Catalyst Reads. He's like the king of tags on BookTube, and he tagged me in his tag no disclaimer book tag. So I will answer the questions. The questions are down here, so I will read them now. The first question: which trope or tropes in books annoy you the most? For me, the cliches that I don't like are like the obvious ones, the so-called Insta love, but it really pisses me off. It doesn't just piss me off because everyone says it's a trope and it's shitty and stuff. It pisses me off when people say it, that they fall instantly in love in real life. So obviously it annoys me when it happens in books. It's just not something I found realistic. It's not something I found like should happen or actually happens, and it's also really superficial and gives standards I don't really want to endorse. So yeah, it's definitely a trope or a cliche I really don't like. And another one is poor character development. Is that how you say it? Don't scream at me if I said it wrong. But this can be seen in many ways. It can be seen that there is no character like arc whatsoever, or the character just does things completely out of character, or like is just there to be there. Like a mother is just there to be a mother and has nothing else. It's just one role and that's the role, and there's nothing to the character at all. And those are the things that annoy me most. Second question: which writers do you feel are overrated? Now I could mention a lot of authors, but it will always be a personal opinion, I guess. And the author I will mention now might also be a personal opinion, but I get furious when I have to talk about her, because it's just no. I really don't. I started some of her books and had to stop all of those I've started, because not just because they are badly written. They could be entertaining, but they are just, I don't use the word problematic, but they have ideas in those books that are just so, like, she uses, for example, abusive relationships just to have a plot point. And I don't really want to say it's problematic, but it's poor writing. If you have to have such a horrific event without ever trying to say this is something you should like not be endorsing with such an audience in mind, it's just no, I can't deal with that. If you read her and you can say, I understand, I read her because I found her entertaining, I understand those things are done horribly and it's poorly written for that reason, good for you. I have nothing against people reading those books for entertainment reasons. I'm sure I have tons of books on my TBR or tons of books I've read that have similar problems. But what really pisses me off is that she gets so much fame for this exact reason, and no one really talks about it. I will link a video down below in the thingy thing from my friend Whitney at Whitney Novels, where she talks about, like, I think November 9 and how she thinks this is problematic, and her like interactions with Colleen Hoover. So definitely check that out. Yeah, so let's move on. What are your least favorite books you've read since joining BookTube? Now, I only just recently joined BookTube, so I can't really say for BookTube, but read it as, or I answered it as one thing for blogging. And this is definitely Our Number Days by an author. I forgot his name because he pisses me off. I mentioned him in another tag as well, so I will not get into it. He is shitty as hell. And he's actually quite popular, or his, like, one of his poems, it's a collection of poetry, and I hated it. I gave it like 2 stars, and just because I liked some of the poems, but no, I hated it. It's definitely the worst book I've read since I have my book blog. And I don't know if anything will top that. Maybe. Let's hope not. Then the 4th question is a terrible ending that ruined that you and like ruined this like building of letters is so difficult to say for like someone who speaks German, so I'm sorry. A terrible ending that ruined a otherwise quality book. Fortunately, I don't have such a book, because if the ending is shitty, I could tell that like already throughout the book, that the book annoyed me already before the ending happened. So it wasn't really a book that was ruined by the by the ending. So we will move on, so I don't have to say the word again. Question 5. Which fictional character do you wish were not killed off, or characters? I think that if an author decides to kill off a character, it's good the way it is, because first of all, it's the author's choice. I can't do anything about that. And the second reason is the story would be changed if this death didn't happen. But if my little naive fangirl, not really, Potterhead heart would have to answer this question, there's a certain professor I don't really wanted to see dead, but died. Yeah, I will not say anything more than that. Please don't say it in the comments, because there might be people watching who have not read this series yet and didn't reach that point where this professor died. So don't spoil anything for those people. Question 6. What are some of your bookish pet peeves? All the cliches I mentioned earlier in question 1, alongside like some bookish things. Typos in books by big publishers. If a big publisher is behind the book, I expect you to like look closely enough that you see those typos. I don't mind it particularly in like self-published or small published books, even though it annoys me a lot, but I do typos as well in my writing, so I don't really mind. But if a big publishing house is behind that and there are still like a ton of typos, that really pisses me off. And also books that are no longer great when they are spoiled. Like that might be like clashing with my answer for question 5, when I said you shouldn't spoil like the Harry Potter series, but I have never said it's like good. So yeah, it really just pisses me off if a book stops being good after it was spoiled. But I will get into a spoiler rant later in my channel. But yeah, a book that is no longer good when someone tells you what it is about. Yeah, I don't like that. Question 7. What are some books you feel should have more recognition? So anything again by Peter Dunn, but I will like move past that and just mention it briefly, because you will hit me if I mention Peter Dunn one more time, but I will mention him if I can in every video I will do. So there's that. But like to give another answer, the poetry genre in general. I want to see more people talk about poetry on BookTube. And I will not just say you should talk about poetry on BookTube. I hope I can do as many poetry collections or review as many poetry collections on this channel, because I really, 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 really want to be like, or that there are more discussions on poetry, because it is lacking and it's a perfect genre, and it was destroyed. I will not say the word again. Destroyed by like the way it was taught in schools, but it's a great genre and we should talk about it more, and I want to see more poetry on BookTube. So, okay, moving on. I get really passionate when I have to talk about the lack of poetry. Question 8. What are your thoughts on censorship and banning of books? Now, another rant. Apparently Michael just wants to see me rant. It appears. Everyone who knows me knows I am a massive supporter of freedom of speech. Therefore, I also let Colleen Hoover do her shitty shit things because she wants to, and I'm not telling her she should stop it, even though I hate it. Because I do believe that everyone has the right to say what they want to say. So if we ban books or censor books, no, it goes beyond everything I believe. It goes beyond everything I believe we as humans are here for. So no, I am completely against that. No. Rather educate about what you did not like about this book, or why do you think this could be dangerous, and talk about it. When we ban things and make things forbidden, they get more appealing for people, and that's when it starts to get dangerous. And I really just there are tons of stories talking about how parents go into schools to ban or censor. I'm sorry. I get passionate again. A book because it has sexual references in it, or it talks about sex. And I'm like, yeah, well, if you have a problem with that, no clue, no idea why you have children. How did that happen? You are not Mother Mary. You are no. Now there is no Virgin Mary, so you obviously had to do something with your partner to create those children. And if you are not willing to have this, the most natural thing in human history, represented in a book that your child has to read because it will eventually get introduced to this concept, then you should rethink, or maybe start therapy or something. See, I'm sorry, this was a massive rant, but it pisses me off, and I have no understanding for censorship or banning books. So the 9th question is, who do you tag? And Michael tagged a bunch of people in his original video, so I will just link to Michael's tag, and you can check if you were tagged in his video. Otherwise, if you want to do this tag, feel free to do it. Feel free to consider your tag by yourself. Consider yourself tagged by yourself. Do you? But no, consider yourself tagged by me. Yeah. I'm sorry for the massive friends. But sometimes you have to rent, right? And I am passionate about things, so there's that. Thank you again, Michael, for tagging me, and I will see you soon. Bye!